Welcome back. Well, we did tell you that Justice Peter Lifu ordered the deregistration of a host of parties, including ADC, Accord Party, Action Alliance, Action People's Party, the APP, and the Zenith Labour Party, ZLP. Well, we understand that he dismissed multiple preliminary objections filed by the defendants and ordered INEC not to allow the parties participate in subsequent elections, including the 2027 general polls, having failed to meet the constitutional threshold. We also did tell you that some of the parties have begun reacting. We've seen the statement of the ADC, which has now rejected that Federal High Court judgment and saying that they're going to pursue all legal means to upturn this particular judgment. But let's take the view of an analyst, a political analyst on this matter. Mr. Gigi Odu joins us now. He's a political analyst and also a development consultant. Good morning, and thank you so much for speaking with us on the program today. I do not know if you saw this particular judgment coming. Did you know that such a case was in court? Because we thought we had since crossed this particular hurdle when INEC said they were going to deregister parties, and some parties had taken INEC to court and won that particular matter. So how did this come to you?
Well, but this is high-wire politics, and it's actually meant to distract those political parties, because I don't know why Justice Lifu, Peter Lifu, gave that judgment. But I saw it coming when there was protest by some opposition party in front of Federal High Court last week, Thursday, saying that Lifu should not destroy democracy and all of that. So I got a wind at that time that possibly they knew this judgment was coming. Otherwise, if they didn't have an insider to have a privy to what the judge will do or what judgment he will give, that protest that happened last Thursday in front of Federal High Court will not have happened. But be that as it may, this is a court of first instance. And the defendants, the 5 political parties, actually have a window of going on appeal up to Supreme Court. Let me say that I also learned that a court of appeal has actually asked for a stay of in this matter till October 27, when they were going to rule on a case similar to this. So I don't know why Justice Lifu, or was his attention called to this Court of Appeal decision that all action should be stayed till when it has entertained the matter in October. And let's come to the nitty-gritty of what this court judgment is saying. INEC is empowered by Section 225A to deregister political party. And when you look at the condition precedent to deregistering parties, there are multiple precedents, multiple provisions. First, you must have 25% in a presidential election, or you must have at least an elected member in the Legislative Assembly, or you must win 25% in states, in one of the local governments in a statewide election, or one of the wards in a local government. So there are different layers of conditions. Now, you look at a party like ADC. ADC, as of 2023, actually had 2 House of Reps elected representatives. So, Leke Abejide did not defect from ADC until early last month, just few days to the conduct of the House of Reps primaries in APC. He was in that party until then.
I think it's important to, sorry, Mr. Ojo, to interrupt you. Just talking about that particular instance, the ADC said he was expelled.
There were 2 of them. There were 2 of them who who are elected from Kogi State. So if, and it's a factional thing. One faction said that Abejide had been expelled. The other faction, which he belonged, which is the faction of Dumebi Kachuku, actually also have countered and have expelled David Mark and all of that. And there is a Balagumbi faction and all of that. But what I'm saying, in essence, is that from the time David Mark took over the ADC, many more House of Reps members have moved into ADC. At least from what I learned, even after the exit of Leke Abejide and possibly Salman, both of whom are from Kogi, who were elected under APC, about 18 moved into House of moved into ADC when P2B joined, and when he left, there were still some of the elected representatives who are still members of the ADC. So on one ground, would you now say that the party does not have the requisite meet the requisite qualification? And we learned that INEC itself has sworn to an affidavit to say that ADC is qualified to participate in 2027 election. So when you dismiss all preliminary applications by the defendant, are you not working to a predetermined outcome? And we learned Association of Former Legislators, what is their locus?
I was just about to ask you that, because I underlined that here. I'm wondering, this National Forum of Former Legislators, I'm wondering if you know about that particular body and if they really have a stand in this particular issue.
What is their locus? What injustice? What mischief are they trying to cure? See, INEC said ADC met the condition precedent to participate in 2027. Who are you as a National Association of Former Legislators? And we learned that the arrowhead of this National Association of Former Legislators works in the office of, I think, Chief of Staff to the President. That's what is what is being said on the social media. I don't know how far that is true. That he works there, which is indicative of the fact that somebody within the top echelon of the ruling party or within the government actually is orchestrating this. We have seen time and again. Look at the so-called status quo antebellum that distracted ADC have been issued until the Supreme Court said the Court of Appeal does not overreach itself by declaring that status quo antebellum. Now we are having this whole deregistration, all because you want to distract this party. Because I know that the appellate court will most likely overturn this judgment, but they just want to distract these parties from concentrating on participating in 2027 election. Look at the case of Accord Party. Accord Party today in Osun State had senators, House of Reps members, 26 state House of Assembly members, and a governor in his fold. So on what basis will you be also saying that Accord Party should be deregistered? A party since last year that has been able to woo a governor, as a senator or two senators from Osun State, 26 members of the State House of Assembly, and about 6 House of Reps members. Now you are saying that party should be deregistered. I mean, on what basis? Then you look at Zenith Labour Party.
Let me ask
Zenith Labour Party in Abia State won 15 out of 17 local government in the local government election that was held 2 years ago.
So in the case of Abia, just a moment, Mr. Ojo, just a moment. So in the case of ZLP, they won seats. In the case of ADC, they won seats in the 2023 election, even though the members have now defected. Can we really count those who defected from one party to the other and say that those votes now belong to the new party? Do you think that will count?
I believe so. I believe it will count because it's about what do you have. And as at the time this judgment is coming, because you cannot have it with retroactive effect, as at the time this judgment is coming, the dynamics, the power dynamics in those parties have changed. So, okay, if you said it should not count, why should that of ADC not count? Why should you now say because those members have defected, that ADC should be deregistered? If you are saying that those who defected to Accord or to Zeni Labour Party should not count. So I guess for me, INEC is the one that statutorily has power to deregister. If the INEC has said, I don't have problem with this party, welcome, supervise their party primaries that was just concluded on May 30th. Supervise their primaries and is just waiting for June 26th to give them the access code to upload their candidates' nomination. Why would a court of law now say that INEC should be registered there? And then I'm asking the issue of about the locus of those who even brought this case. What is the injustice they stand to suffer if members of the party, the members of the political parties in questions are not the one asking that their party should be deregistered? You are coming from the opposition to now impose. I mean, this mark of treachery and subterfuge and intrigues. And I think President Bola Tinubu should actually wash his hand of this because it's giving his administration a bad name. We know President Bola Tinubu to be a Democrat. And even in the June 12 election, he echoed that much, that he stood for. He said you can even criticize him, but don't continue to believe in Nigeria. I am not a politician, but I will not allow a situation where you are shrinking the civic space for political participation. What is the threat that ADC poses to this administration? In a fair contest today, the APC had 31 governors, had majority in House of Reps, majority in Senate, majority in the State House of Assembly, majority in local government, majority in the number of governors. What is the fear of ADC that you are making the party unpopular? The ADC is already factionalized. Leave them to sort themselves out. This whole issue of deregistering or attempting to deregistering ADC will continue to rankle in the minds of well-meaning Nigeria who will be seeing the house of Esau and the voice of Jacob. Because all said and done, if INEC said in an affidavit, not orally, in an affidavit that it does not have problem with ADC, that ADC met this threshold to participate, and there is a court of appeal ruling, not judgment, ruling
you said that
till October.
I want us to let's see if we can talk about other matters about this issue that have started filtering through social media. There are people who are calling for some kind of investigation into Justice Lifu, Justice Peter Lifu, who gave this judgment. And I can also see from the statements of the ADC, they actually said they're going to be petitioning the National Judicial Council over what they're describing as judicial rascality demonstrated by the presiding judge of the Federal High Court. They said his conduct has continued to bring the institution of the judiciary into disrepute. That is from Mr. Bolaji Abdullahi, the National Publicity Secretary of the African Democratic Congress. And I'm seeing another lawmaker, Ogo Chinyere, also saying that this particular judge needs to be looked at. Talk to us a bit about how you feel about that, because listening to you, you're wondering what this ruling was about, considering all of the factors. A subsisting appeal court that is supposed to meet in October. Was he not aware of that judgment that was supposed to come up in October? What was the rush to do this? So talk to us a bit about the calls for investigations into that judge. Is that something that you think should happen?
I believe so. I believe the Chief Justice of Federation, Honorable Justice Kudirat Kekere-Okun, should actually have Justice Lifu investigated, because I'm trying not to reduce some good language on him, But among the lawyers, he's said to be somebody that, is pliant to the authorities. And we should have courageous judges, particularly in politically sensitive cases like this. I just gave you a background. INEC is the one that should ordinarily have gone to court and ask court to give its power to deregister this party. If INEC did not do it, if INEC saw an affidavit to say that, see, ADC in particular met this threshold, and there is a court of appeal, the ruling that says, wait, every other action should be stayed until when we decide on this case in October. Why the rush? Why the rush? Why can't Justice Libus recuse himself or perhaps adjourn sine until when Court of Appeal has decided, and then he can now entertain the case? And for whatever it's worth, let me tell you the technicality of having to rush to deregister a party. First, Kela and Mokwe, when you look at those condition precedents in Section 225A, only area council election is conducted by INEC, and that is just 6 area councils. So 768 local government elections are not conducted simultaneously. They are conducted at different times by different political parties. And until when all the local government elections have been concluded, that is when you can say that a party did not meet that constitutional threshold. Because a party that doesn't win in presidential election, that doesn't win 25% or any of the legislative seats, may well do well in a local government election. And that is the situation with Zeni Labour Party. Zeni Labour Party did not win any seats in 2023. But I think it was in 2025 or late 2024 that Abia State government conducted local government election. And out of 17 local government, Zeni Labour Party won 15 and YPP won 2. And Zeni Labour Party won 170-something councillorship position. So and that's why INEC is so strong. INEC cannot rush and use only the result of a general election to deregister party until it has to wait till all the other states, the 36 states, have organized, conducted their local government elections, and all the registered parties, you cannot do a forensic evaluation that, okay, you did not win a councillorship seat, you did not win local government, you did not win state assembly, you didn't win House of Reps, you didn't win Senate, you didn't win governorship, and you didn't win the presidential, and you didn't win the threshold of votes that is needed in an executive election. Then you can be deregistered. But in a situation where a general election was conducted and you rush to say we are deregistered, that's why INEC under Mahmoud Yakubu hesitated and tried not to rush, because it was even the July 11, 2024 Supreme Court decision, the Supreme Court judgment, that compelled most of the states to rush to now have local government elections. And you know what the outcome has. Even in Rivers State, ADP was the party that Fubara used to get his loyalists to win the local government election that was nullified by the court eventually, and they have to have a repeat election. And today, Ugochi Yere is a member of ADP and is a sitting House of Reps member. So technically, when you look at this, you will find out that it's not as straightforward for a judge to dismiss all appeals, to dismiss all interlocutory appeals by the defendant, and just make an announcement that is eating up the politics, because this is not healthy for 2027 election. I mean, if APC will win, let APC win in a very clear manner, in a way that his victory will not be tainted. It will not be an orchestrated victory for APC.
Mr. Jijodo, we wish we could go on and on with you. We have to thank you very much for sharing your thoughts with us this morning. Just to also let members of the ADC, one of the affected parties, know that the party has said that their members, candidates, supporters, and coalition partners across the country to remain calm and vigilant and steadfast, that they would do whatever it takes to be on the ballot so long as the 2027 election is to hold. Thank you once more for coming on the program. Mr. Jidiojo is a political analyst and also a development consultant.
It's my pleasure, Mokpe and Kayla. Have a great day.
Thank you too. Well, that's where we draw the curtains on today's program. Thank you so much for being a part of it. I'm Maupe Ogun Yusuf.
Business Mornings at the top of the hour. I'm Kayla Megwa. Have a great day ahead.